Before the NFL draft is the best time to make trades, especially if you are looking to offload a premier name in fantasy football. So I'm going to give you 3 wide receivers I am selling before the 2023 season, before the NFL draft, so you can capitalize on the most value possible. My first guy is Deebo Samuel. Now, I told everyone to be out on him last year, to sell him, because I thought Ayuk was going to kind of lead this team in targets, lead this team in PPR production, and we saw that happen, and I think that continues into 2023. Right now, Deebo Samuel is going in dynasty startups as wide receiver 19. Last season, he averaged 12.95 points per game, which is largely okay. It's not great. It's not spectacular. Basically, if he is your wide receiver 3, you're pretty content with that. But keeping Deebo Samuel on your roster right now feels like a playing to the middle kind of move, unless you're, stacked everywhere else and wide receiver is kind of your weakest spot. Deebo Samuel is a guy I'm happy to move on from. Here are some trades I found on the DLF Trade Finder that I would be okay moving Deebo Samuel for right now. Josh Jacobs and the 310. Now, I'll put a caveat here in. Trading for running backs in this time of season is really dangerous. It can be something that can tank value and mess up any trade you made pre-draft. But Josh Jacobs, I think, is a little bit safer in this area. Sure, they might add someone to this backfield to, just relieve him from being on the field so often. But Jacobs is pretty much a locked-in RB1, especially for 2023. So if you're a contending team in this season, maybe even in next season, and you have holes at running back, I am fine trading Deebo Samuel. Another trade that I thought was pretty interesting, if you can get the 105 for Deebo Samuel, I'm making that trade 10 out of 10 times. You're going to either get at the 105 Jahmyr Gibbs or Jackson Smith-Njigba. I think I'm okay taking either of those players over Deebo Samuel. I think if you look at dynasty rankings right now, they're already ranked ahead of him in most cases. Sure, draft capital and landing spot might be a little bit different when it comes to Jahmyr Gibbs, but both talents I will take over Deebo Samuel right now. The last trade that I think is a really interesting one, you're taking on some more risk here, but that's kind of the name of the game if you want to capitalize on value at this time of the season. Trading for the 109 in Superflex rookie drafts, as well as Treylon Burks, a guy who underperformed due to mostly injury. He had some questions in the offseason about work ethic and what his asthma was going to let him do on the practice field, but Burks showed some really nice flashes last year. I still believe in the talent. I think getting him and the addition of a 109 in Superflex rookie drafts is going to bring back way more value for you for the long term, and maybe even as early as 2023 than a Deebo Samuel. The second guy on my list is DJ Moore. Obviously, he was just traded to the Chicago Bears. He's playing with Justin Fields, arguably the best quarterback he's ever played with in his entire career. But let's look a little bit into DJ Moore. Currently, he's going as wide receiver 18 in dynasty startups. His career average in points per game is 12.94, which is okay. It's not great, but let's look at also his career average in targets per season. It's 123.2. If you look at what the Bears offense did last year, that means that DJ Moore last season would have had to have a roughly 38% target share in the Bears offense last season. Highly unlikely. Last season, even though he dealt with injury, Darnell Mooney led the way with a 19% target share. I could see DJ Moore jumping to 22, maybe 23%, but with a healthy Chase Claypool, with a healthy Darnell Mooney, with a healthy DJ Moore, it's just unlikely that DJ Moore gets anywhere near 30, never mind 35% target share. So I don't see these numbers shaking out in his favor. In DLF Trade Finder, there's a couple trades that I thought were really interesting for DJ Moore that I would make right now and to capitalize on that value. DJ Moore in the 202 for a Superflex rookie 105. 105 is likely in a Superflex league. You're getting either Jackson Smith-Njigba, Jahmyr Gibbs. I'm fine trading DJ Moore in 202, even if I do think that DJ Moore could get better in 2024, could get better in 2025 in this offense. I'm taking the premier asset in the 105 because that's going to turn into a player that's already ranked fairly ahead of a DJ Moore when it comes to dynasty rankings right now. Another trade I saw that was pretty interesting was DJ Moore in the 203 for DK Metcalf. If you watch my buy video at the wide receiver position, DK Metcalf was a huge buy for me. He is entering, the apex of wide receiver age production. Obviously, he's got Geno Smith, who, if he continues on, is going to be a good fit. But also, they might find a new answer at quarterback in the next year or two. And so I'm buying in on DK Metcalf's talent, and I'm betting on his talent far higher than a DJ Moore talent. So adding a 203 really doesn't scare me off of making a deal like that for DK Metcalf. Okay, the last trade target I have for you is Jahan Dotson. Now, there's a lot of hype starting to build around Jahan Dotson, and I like that for one reason. You can sell him for more. Currently, he's going as wide receiver 36 in Dynasty ADP. I think that's going to start climbing as we get further and further into the offseason program. But ultimately, Jahan Dotson's a guy I'm okay selling for a number of reasons. Last season, he averaged 5 targets per game. You know, from weeks 13 to 18, I think he got up to around 7 targets per game. But really, he's never going to get much higher than that because he's got a player who's very, very similar and probably more talented than him in Terry McLaurin on the other side of the field every single snap. He averaged 10.88 points per game last season, which is largely meh at the wide receiver position. Highly replaceable numbers. Sure, it was his rookie season. He dealt with some injury as well. And again, the second half of the season, he did come on a little bit more, which is why hype is starting to build around him. But ultimately, when you break down what his situation is, he is not a player who I think has enough talent to transcend a situation. Honestly, very similar to a Terry McLaurin, where he's a highly efficient route runner. He is a great separator, but he is stuck with currently Sam Howell as his quarterback. Unless there's a major change at the quarterback position, we could be looking at a really talented player in Jahan Dotson who is stuck, just like a Terry McLaurin, in that mid-range, middling wide receiver to production, because this offense is going to be constantly trying to redefine itself. Maybe new ownership will change that, but as things stand now, I'm okay taking the gamble to trade Jahan Dotson for something I believe will bring in way more value for your team in 2023 and beyond. The DLF Trade Finder gives me about 3 or 4 trades here that I think are really interesting. So straight up for J.K. Dobbins. Now, again, I will warn you against trading for running backs during this period of the offseason. The draft's right around the corner. A huge influx of running backs are coming in. But I think J.K. Dobbins is still going highly underrated. He is one of the players who, when he was on the field last year, coming back from his ACL tear, he showed that he is a very talented running back. One of the better pure rushers in the NFL, I would say. I think J.K. Dobbins is a great buy right now, and I am fine trading a wide receiver 3 with some upside in Jahan Dotson for a J.K. Dobbins who can be an immediate top 15 running back for your team in 2023. Another trade I saw that was really interesting, and you know, the context right now of Trey Lance maybe being traded could change some of this, but I saw Jahan Dotson go for Trey Lance straight up. It was actually in a Superflex league, which surprises me because of the quarterback premium there. But if you can, in a Superflex league, get Trey Lance for Jahan Dotson, you should be doing that. Another trade I saw was the 107 in a Superflex rookie draft for Jahan Dotson. Now, at the 107, you've missed out probably on Bijan, you've missed out on CJ Stroud, Bryce Young, Jahmyr Gibbs, Jackson Smith, and Jigba, but you do have a chance at Jordan Addison. You have a chance at Zay Flowers, at Zach Charbonnet. All of those players I have as prospects higher than Jahan Dotson when he was coming out. And again, he didn't really do anything this year that made me think he can surpass that tier. So I'm fine taking those guys that are going to be younger. And I think they're more talented than a Jahan Dotson, who's got target competition in Terry McLaurin. All right, those are my 3 wide receiver sells. I'll be coming back next week with another video for you. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Make sure to like, comment. I'll get to whatever questions you ask below. If you've got other trade questions, I'm happy to answer those as well. For 444, be kind, do good. See you next time. Peace.